Hey everybody, I am Arglefump. I have been challenged to pick my favorite character from every single Nancy Drew game. I have not done any prep work for this. I am coming at this completely unprepared. Hey, there's Tino Palducci. I like that guy. He's pretty cool, I guess. And Nancy's mom, that's another cool character. Yeah, and let's start with Secrets Can Kill. So there are two versions of this game, the remastered and the original. Hal Tanaka's the same in both versions. Same with the Hulk. I feel like the characters that were really changed for these two. Connie was a lot cooler in the original version. Like, she does karate and stops the culprit. That's neat. But she does not stop the culprit in the remake. No. Oh man, Daryl. He is so terrible in the remake. He's just this grumpy, ugly old man, whereas he's a helpful, cool, flirty guy in the original, and he has the same last name as me. So, Daryl Gray, best character for Secrets Can Kill. If we're going with the remastered version, then obviously the Student of the Month for September is the best character. Moving on to Stay Tuned for Danger. Lillian is just kind of mean, yeah. She's like the mystery suspect who's mean all the time. We see a lot of those in the Nancy Drew series, where this person is just mean because in a mystery, if one character is mean, everybody thinks that mean character is the culprit. I've seen that in so many mysteries. Maddie, I'm just thinking her as, I called her Actress Barbie in my original review. She does seem to have like a little flat personality, although she has a great voice actress. Millie is silly. I like her. She's barely in the game too. I like that painting. What's that painting behind her? Let's check this out. Whoa, okay, that was very pixelated. What is that? That's some sort of castle. I want to solve a mystery there. Sorry, got distracted. Rick Arlen is okay. Again, you know, with Stay Tuned for Danger, I wish we got to see a lot more of the characters. Probably because it was only their second game. In their first game where they were doing, like, animation for the characters as opposed to the cartoon animation characters in the first game. So I feel like they were very limited on what they could do with the characters, and so the characters really don't appear outside of one or two scenes. My favorite character from Stay Tuned for Danger, it will be no surprise if you've seen my walkthrough, it's Dwayne Powers. He's just so hilarious, and he delivers everything with such enthusiasm, and I don't have his picture. Why do I not have a picture of Dwayne Powers? Well, that's... oh, okay. Moving on to Message in a Haunted Mansion. Oh, I'm missing someone, aren't I? I don't have a picture of Lewis from Message in a Haunted Mansion. Okay, my folder file is missing some people. Okay, Abby! Abby is my favorite character. She's fun, she's funny. I like her, she is funny. Charlie, I know a lot of people really like Charlie, but I think it's kind of creepy how he's sort of living in Rose's basement, and he doesn't really affect the plot. Not really. I think, like, of all the characters who could be kicked out of the game and not be missed, it would be Charlie. Rose is okay. She mostly gives you chores, and I'm not a big fan of being forced to do chores. And Lewis is just a pompous jerk. Okay, moving on to, oh no, it's not Trail of the Twister. I'm forgetting the name of this. Treasure in the Royal Tower, Dexter Egan. So he's a really mean, grumpy guy who's suspicious because he's mean and grumpy, and he also went to jail. I kind of like him, though. I like how he has a story, like he gets nicer as the game goes on and becomes Nancy's friend. I like that. I like that. Oh, wait. Professor Hotchkiss is in this game. Okay, sorry, Dexter. Dexter, you have the most development, but Professor Hotchkiss is the funniest character, best character of the game. Hotchkiss, right there. Love her. Was so glad that we actually get to meet her like halfway through the game, because we don't really see her in the first half of the game, and so that was a really fun surprise for her to actually appear. Jacques disappears in the second half of the game. I feel like they had to get rid of Jock to make room for Hotchkiss. So I didn't really like Jock. He does get a happy ending and he's nice, but he's like the guy who stands behind a desk. There's a lot of guys who stand behind desks in the early part of the series. Charlie. Hey, there's Charlie. Oh, we forgot Ralph the security guard. He stands behind a desk and Stay Tuned for Danger. I like him. He eats donuts. He seems nice. Millie is standing behind a desk, though. Okay. Nobody cares if the characters are standing behind desks. Sorry about that. Lisa, I don't like her. A lot of people complain about her voice. I don't like her because she's just mean. And you know, she, like, gives you jobs. Again, I mean, like, Dexter gave us jobs. But at least he turned nice and he had more depth and personality. Whereas Lisa is just sort of like, just like, hey, let's be best friends. And I'll gossip with you at the start of the game and then never talk to you again. Really. Until the very end. Okay, the final scene, game number 5. Brady Armstrong, oh, I kind of want to say Nick Falcone, but I feel like that would be 3 games in a row where I say I really like the funny character. I guess I have a personality type. He also likes standing behind a desk, doesn't he? Joseph is pretty nice. I like his phrase, don't let the turkeys get you down. He's pretty good for most of the game. I do get creeped out by the one scene where it, like, gets a huge zoom in on his face. I'm like, like, he tries to be helpful, but I don't think he's very helpful. Same with Brady. Like, Brady, I don't know how many spoilers I should go into in this video, but on the 3rd day of the game, Brady sort of has a personality change, and I don't like that. You know, I'm glad for him standing up to his mean agent Simone. Look at that angry face on her. Oh my gosh. But I also like her too. She's kind of mean and snarky. You know, when she's not saying mean and terrible things about me, then I think, oh, she's kind of funny. But when she is insulting me, I'm like, oh, no, I don't like her at all. She's mean and self-centered, and she would be totally fine with Maya being hurt as long as it gets publicity for Brady. So, yeah, Simone is shallow and not good. Maya, we barely see her. We see her at the start for the opening scene, and then we see her at the end again when she's saved. But that's about it. So I feel like Maya could have been a great character. I feel like they should bring her back for a game or something, right? Because this is the first time we have, like, a character who is Nancy's friend. Whereas the other games, like, these are all people she's meeting for the first time. She kind of knows Rose through, they have a mutual friend. Yeah. And I guess Maddie Jensen, no, Maddie Jensen knows Nancy's aunt. So, really, Maya stands out as the first friend that Nancy has, and I kind of wish she showed up in other games. That would be cool. Okay, so Secret of the Scarlet Hand. Gosh, this is a hard one. Alejandro, he's the hot guy who stands behind a desk. Yes, and he's a big fan of baseball. I kind of like him, but he's also fulfilling the role of the guy who's kind of mean and not nice, and is suspicious because he's mean and not nice. I don't like that personality type. Henrik's okay. He loses his memory halfway through the game, and so he's really different in the second half of the game. But you gotta love a guy who loves snacks as much as Henrik does. Joanna, I liked her. Again, she, like, disappears for, like, the second half of the game. I wish she did more with Nancy. Like, if she had taken a more active role in the investigation, I think she would have been better. I do like her outfit. It's really nice. And Taylor Sinclair, I kind of love him. Kind of hate him, too. He's just so slimy and creepy. It's not good. I don't think I'm including phone characters, because I don't have pictures of the phone characters, obviously, because they're only phone-only characters. So let's see, Poppy Dotto is great. I really liked her. She's probably my favorite character of the game, and I wish she returned. Obviously, Sunny June returns for other Nancy Drew games, so we don't talk to him. Prudence Rutherford is also a character who comes back. Yeah, I guess they brought back phone characters instead of bringing back the in-person characters like Maya. It still would have been amazing to see Maya again. Okay, so, Ghost Dogs. There's only 3 characters. Lots of people like Ranger Akers because he's responsible and good-looking, and he stands behind a desk. Yeah, but then he also gives Nancy a ticket for, like, no reason. I don't like that. Red Knot is the grumpy old man who's a suspect, mainly because he's grumpy and old. I don't think he really has much of a connection to dogs or really wanting the property that much. This kind of looks like a weird picture of Emily. It looks like her head was photoshopped onto her body. She's relatively nice, and then she gives you chores for most of the game. That's another character personality we see a lot. It's weird to say personality, but that's just a reoccurring character we see a lot. We see a character who gives you chores all the time. We see the character who stands behind a desk and is good looking. And we have the character who's mean and suspicious. Alrighty. Also, the person who pretends to be your best friend so they can backstab you later. Oh, I don't like those people. Oh, I'm glad I don't know lots of people like that in real life. Okay, did I pick my favorite? Ranger Acres. Ranger Acres, let's go with that. Okay, so Haunted Carousel. I think Harlan Bishop was actually my favorite. Like, he was the guy who was nice the whole time, and I actually kind of like that. He's got a couple of good one-liners. Yeah, I like him. Oh, Ellie was also really nice to you the whole time, too. He's also kind of a slacker. He's introduced as being mean to Nancy. I don't know, he's got a way cooler hairstyle than Harlan. Harlan is more, like, by the books, but he's a by the books security guard. What do you expect? He is not standing behind a desk, though. He should be standing behind a desk. Yeah, Elliot, okay. And then Ingrid is a character, I guess we haven't really talked about this personality type before. The character who's like the strange character, the funny, quirky character, the character who says weird things, and that's what makes them funny. We've seen that before. Let's see, that was Professor Hotchkiss. And it was also Abby here. Like, Abby and Hotchkiss, they were both, I'd consider them to be like the comedy relief characters. Yeah, so looks like we went a long while without any major comedy relief characters. I mean, Nick is kind of a comedy relief character. Anyway, I generally like the comedy relief characters because I like silly jokes. Ingrid just was not funny. I don't think her jokes landed. And Joy, I really like her backstory with Miles and trying to come to grips with the death of her father, but she is a rather unpleasant person for most of the game. Although I do like her development and how she becomes a better person as she reconnects with her past. Okay, Danger on Deception Island, game number 9. Andy, I love his fake muscles, and yeah. I shouldn't make fun of him, but yeah, he's trying to be the hot guy standing behind the desk, and it's just not working. I'm sorry, I think those are fake muscles right there. But Wales rule! I do like his line, Wales rule. Holt Scotto, love this guy who's just like the mean guy. He's the mean guy, and he gives you chores a lot, and he's just so honest about it too. I also like Denal from so many games ahead, but Denal is the same way too. Where's Denal? He's got to be here. Denal Delaney, he's just so open about, hey, I'm gonna make you do all my chores for me because I don't want to do it. There's something refreshing about that. Like in contrasts, Ollie trying to make you do all his chores, he was not very open and honest about it. It felt like that was more manipulative and mean. But also some of these other characters. Yeah, all these characters have puzzles and chores for me to do. Oh, but I don't know. There's just something about Holt that made it charming, even though he was not being nice. It still felt a little charming that he was just so open about it. I was like, okay, fine, do my chess puzzle, okay. Jenna did not have much personality. They tried to make it seem like she had a big fight going on with Katie Firestone, but that storyline completely fell flat. I want to like Katie. I wish there was more of her in the game, but she spends most of the game just fixing. Yeah, I mean, she's George's friend. I think Katie's probably my favorite. No, it's Holt Scotto. Sorry, I was getting confused. So, Dave Gregory, everybody's favorite. He's so good looking. He's the hot cowboy, so everybody likes him. And he's sensitive and sweet. And Shorty, I liked him because he's kind of a funny guy. Yeah. Does he have the same fake muscles as Andy? Is he the same muscle? It's the same muscle shirt. Okay. They just put suspenders on him, I guess. Mary Ozzy's okay. We don't really see too much of her. I like her storyline with Tex. I actually kind of like Tex. He is the mean guy. And like the others, he's just totally open about the fact that he's mean and not nice. But everybody will get mad at me if I don't say Dave is my favorite character of Secret of Shadow Ranch. But really, it is the Chicken of Doom is my favorite character. Maybe. Charlena Purcell's okay in that game too. I did like Ethel. Ethel was good. I wish there was more of her in this game because she felt like a really interesting character. Jane is not my favorite character because she's mostly there to make you play games, and she does kind of look creepy to me. I'm sure that's on purpose. Linda just acts creepy on purpose. I kind of like Linda, but half of her conversations are her being mad, and generally by the time you're halfway through the game or a third of the way through the game, she runs out of conversations, and so every conversation is, I'm not talking to you, because there are no more conversations left for us. Mrs. Drake is, I think she's probably the best. I have seen some people say Mrs. Drake is the best character out of the game because she's been living in the craziness that is Blackmore Manor for her entire life, and she seems completely unfazed. Nigel is just kind of boring and strange. I do like scaring him in the game, but yeah, let's go with Mrs. Drake as my favorite for this one. Sorry if I forgot any games. No, I think I picked a favorite from every game. Yeah, okay, good. I know I'm supposed to pick a favorite from every single game, but I do want to talk a little bit about every single character, because I might as well, right? Instead of just listing my favorites, I'll talk about everyone. So, Emily's probably my favorite. She is a victim in this game, and she doesn't have too much personality. I don't know. I like her. She's interesting. She's different from the other characters. Jane is basically, I feel like she's only there to spout 1930s slang at us. That's really it. And then she makes us do chores. Jim Archer is surprisingly popular. I like him too. So either him or Emily, who are the two friendly characters of the game. And then Richard Topham is just really mean, stuck up, and full of himself. I just don't like him. And I don't know what is about his personality that's like 1930s jerk, but that's a special flavor of jerk that I don't like. And he's also the guy behind the desk all day long. He's not the hot guy behind the desk. The Hardy Boys are hot guys behind desks. So, Frank and Joe Hardy, I probably... Oh, which one's Frank and which one's Joe? Okay, Frank is the one on the right, Joe's the one on the left. Joe is the one I like better in this game. You know, he's the one who likes cheeseburgers. So I like Joe better than Frank in this game, although usually in the books I prefer Frank. Laurie Gerard, I thought, was an interesting character. She's kind of well done. They, you know, she's self-centered, and actually all the characters are kind of self-centered. Like, the only thing John really cares about is his TV show and spouting technobabble. Charlena, it was interesting to see her in person, but she's kind of not nice. She didn't need to be in the game. I feel like of all the characters who could have been cut out, either her or John Gray could have been cut out. And of course, Tino Balducci is my favorite character of the game. He's the funny guy. He is also the good-looking guy behind the desk, right? I don't know. He's just so eager and honest about himself, which is weird to say because he's totally lying about himself and how great he is. But I don't know. He just believes his own hype really, really strongly, and I like that. He believes in himself so much that I kind of believe in him. Yeah, and of course, Fatima, can't forget her. She's great. She is funny. I liked her. I liked her too. But Tino takes the win. So, Danger by Design. We have Minette. She is the mean boss. Yeah, I did not like her. I feel like most people hate her because of the T-puzzle. The T-puzzle. I feel like the game wanted her to be like quirky and funny, because that's the opening scene where she screams for 3 minutes and then cries for 2 minutes and then laughs for 7 hours in a row. I feel like, oh, that's setting her up to be a funny joke character, but she's not. She's just mean. Jean-Michel felt more like a funny joke character to me. He's constantly arguing with Nancy over French pronunciation. Yeah, he's okay. I like him. He's fine. He's probably my favorite, actually. Let's go with Jean-Mi. Jean-Mi, you win. Best character of the game for me. Heather's nice. She wants to be a fashion designer, even though she's wearing that tie with those pants. I do like how you have the option of picking whether or not Heather's your friend. Like, that's a pretty cool thing. Although the downside is that if you pick her to not be your friend, then she's kind of got nothing to do for the rest of the game because she gets mad at you and doesn't want to be your friend anymore. So, maybe it wasn't the best. Dieter, I feel like he was mostly there for puzzles, to give you puzzles, and he's standing behind the desk. I feel like he was supposed to be the hot guy behind the desk, but I haven't seen anybody, like, claim, ooh, Dieter, oh man, he's so hot in that accent. Oh, it makes my heart flutter. Never heard anybody say that about Dieter. So, yeah, and then he's got this, like, kind of romance thing going on with Minette, and really, they deserve each other. I feel like they'd be fine. And then JJ Ling, she's okay, she's nice. I don't like how she forces me to make cookies for her. And she's like, I won't do my job unless you make me cookies. What a mean roommate, just forcing Nancy to do all her chores. And especially when she's like, oh, I'm so close to being done with these cookies. Sorry, you'll have to wait 5 minutes. And like, that'd be fine if Nancy just had to bake cookies for 5 minutes. But then it turns out the cookies haven't even been started. And they're like an hour away from being finished. And you also have to get the extremely rare ingredient of mint. And it's like, no, lying meanie roommate. Oh, who are these two guys? Are those the Hardy Boys? No, wait, hold on a second. Hardy Boys? Yeah, those are the Hardy Boys. Who are these guys? Who are these imposters? Hashtag not my Hardy Boys. Frank shows up more in this game. Joe only shows up in this particular cutscene, so there's not a whole lot of Joe in this game. He gets clobbered and that's it. Frank, we see him a couple of times, so I guess he's more important. Dr. Craven. Dr. Craven, Matt, I like him. He does have a little bit of depth to him, because he realizes his anger hurts the people he loves, including himself. But that doesn't really go anywhere, and I think the game just ends with him being an angry, screaming guy. And, Big Island Mike, oh, he forces me to do so many things for him. Like, the Big Island Bucks is just a huge scam, and he stole the necklace that I made for him, and that's just not cool, Big Island Mike. Not cool. Pua is okay. Are there any other characters? I guess Quigley could be my favorite character in the game, although we don't really see her until halfway through. And it feels like she wasn't as developed as she should be, because she's mostly just the joke character. The joke is that she rambles a lot. Ha ha ha. And I don't think that was very funny. And then she makes you do that terrible Frass puzzle too, so I guess I don't like her. Gosh, probably Big Island Mike, maybe? He's the most memorable character of the game. Really, I think Big Island Mike is the most memorable character of the game. Like, I talked to my daughter, and he's the only one that she remembers. Pua is just the surfing girl. Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah. Okay, moving on to game number 16. This is the White Wolf Bicycle Creek. I already talked about Ollie, how he just gives you chores and is kind of mean all the time. It's kind of gruff. And yeah, he could have been cool. I just don't think he is that cool. Lou is a character I heard some people think he's the hot guy of the game. But I disagree. I don't like him. I think he's kind of a meanie myself, but that's just me. Yanni is just straight up, he's just mean, doesn't want to talk to you at all. Don't like him. Bill's okay. I feel like I was just like, why is he in this game? I feel like of all the characters in the game, that could have been removed. Bill is definitely at the top of that list. Guadalupe is a character that some players don't even know is in the game. She's very easy to miss. And her conversations aren't that important. She disappears like partway through. Basically, Ollie kicks her out of the place. So who do I like in this game? Well, I don't have many other options, do I? Okay, Guadalupe, Bill, yeah. Probably gonna go with Bill. I think he'll go with Bill. I think he's the most helpful, and I think he has the most... although he does make you play Fox and Geese, and he makes you do the fishing challenge. Oh, I don't think I have a favorite of this game. I think I dislike all the characters pretty equally. Yeah. Okay. Legend of the Crystal Skull. Dr. Buford, Renee Amon, Henry Bollet. He's probably the most interesting character. He's the most interesting character. He's got the most backstory. He's got the cool goth vibe going on. And he keeps his dead great uncle's eyeball on a keychain, which is creepy. But he's also got this mean girlfriend. I feel bad for him because of that. Renee is just creepy, and she does make you do all her chores, although she's not trying to be the mean person who makes you do chores all the time. She is that person. I thought Dr. Buford was creepy. Actually, I liked his storyline with Bess, but I think that might be because I just like Bess. I just like Bess in this game, okay? I don't like the way how he flirts with Bess. He flirts with her all the time, and that's gross. I don't like it. Okay, not all the time. There's like 3 lines where he flirts with her, but I still don't like it. I feel bad for Lamont because he's just the butt of a couple of jokes. Bess has to, Bess plays mean jokes on him to get him out of the way so she can spy in his back room, and that's just mean. So I feel bad for him. Helena, I did not really like her all that much. She just felt like she is Nancy's roommate in Phantom of Venice, but yeah, I didn't like her that much. Colin, I liked him. I thought he was the most interesting character of the game. A lot of people have commented on my videos saying he's really not a good person, and that's true. He's just kind of controlling and mean because he likes Nancy, and he thinks that entitles him to control her, and that's not very nice. Now, Margareta Foberg is really mean and is controlling. Oh, I forgot Colin's standing behind a desk. Margareta is, yeah, she's just mean the whole time. I'm not sure I like her. Enrico's okay. He plays that card game, Scopa, all the time, and that's all he does. That's really all he does. And Fongo never really talks in this game, does he? It would have been interesting, like, if we got to interact with him directly, but we don't. We don't. That's not something that happens. Alrighty, so let's see. Best character of the game. Probably the Phantom. Do we have the Phantom in here? I'll pick the Phantom. The Phantom was intriguing. Villainous Phantom. Okay, Haunting at Castle Malloy. Well, hands down, Kyler is my favorite. I like her. Yes, I played the game. Yeah, I was not married when I played this game. And I'm like, no, Tyler, marry me, please. But she did not, because she doesn't exist. Some people don't like her because she forces you to do her chores a lot, but I thought it was okay. And Denal, I really liked him. Like, he's the character who goes all in on making you do his chores, but he's grumpy and funny, and I liked him. I did not like Kit. I just didn't like him. I think he's there because they needed a suspect, but he seems kind of whiny to me. And Matt, we don't see a whole lot of Matt in the game, but I did like when Matt shows up towards the end, and we have a long conversation with Matt. I also like the, oh, whatever her name is, the Banshee, Fiona the Banshee. I like her a lot too. So Fiona, our Kyler, my favorite character of the game. Bess was also one of my favorite characters of this game, although she only appears at the very end of Ransom of the Seven Ships, but it's Bess. Did not like Johnny. He's basically there to give you chores, basically. Yep. And he's the reason the game has been discontinued, so I will hate him forever for that. And also George, I kind of like George, actually. It's probably one of the better games with George. So I think George will be my favorite character of the game. I know some people like Cuckoo, but yeah, George is my favorite. Now, Wards at Waverly Academy is one of those games where I love every single character, and so it's hard to pick a favorite. Like, oh man, I like Rachel. I would be her friend in real life. And, okay, I don't like Izzy, but she is an interesting character to talk to, the mean girl who runs the school. Leela is just the sports character. I don't think she would talk to me in real life. She's basically there to make you play sports, that's all. She doesn't really feel like she's part of the overall game, although she does have like a fight with Izzy over her boyfriend. It really doesn't feel like that had a follow-up. She's like, oh man, I'll get revenge on my roommate, and then we never hear anything else about it. So that wasn't so cool. Mel's probably my favorite. She's my favorite character in the game. She's the one that I would like to be friends with in real life, although she probably would never talk to me in real life. So there's that. And Kareen, she's supposed to be awkward, and that's the whole point behind her character, really. It feels like that's the point. They needed somebody to be the awkward character, and so they wrote Kareen. So, oh man, Trail of Twister. I don't like anybody in this game. Maybe Paw? Yeah, let's go with Paw. He's the nice, friendly guy, and he helps you out a lot. And Chase is also a nice, friendly guy. Yeah, Chase is kind of friendly. Kind of scares me, to be honest, a little bit. Like, I feel like he was more likely to be the culprit than Paw. So maybe I still thought he was kind of scary for that. Debbie really feels like she has no personality. She is... I can't describe her. I don't know what her personality is at all. I don't know what she would do in any given situation. She's just there in the game. Yeah. And Frosty, I guess he's kind of funny. He's full of himself. I like him enough when I'm playing the game, but when the game is over, I completely forget about him. He's not as bad as Debbie, because I can never remember anything about her. But still, I tend to forget Frosty when the game's over. And then Scott, some people really like Scott. He does have a well-defined personality, so that's good. But his personality is jerk, and that's not good. Okay, moving on to Shadow at the Water's Edge, my favorite character. It was probably Rentaro. He's probably my favorite character of the game, because he probably talks more than any other character in the game. He's funny like that. Yumi was also probably the fan favorite of the game, because she's so pink and enthusiastic. And, oh man, like Yumi, I feel like Yumi and Rentaro would be a great couple, because they're both like the comedy relief, funny characters. Don't really like Takei because she's kind of annoying. She talks slowly and in really long conversations too. And that's something that happens, well, later on in the series. We get a lot of characters who just talk long conversations and not interesting. Yes, Abdullah, oh man. I'll get to him when I get to him. Anyway. And then Miwako, I like her fine. She's okay. I feel like they could have done more with her, but I understand that. I don't really think of her as a suspect. It was hard to think of any of these characters as like suspects. Like, who's the one who's messing around with the dead ghost? I don't know. Ugh. Okay, so game number 24, Captive Curse. Carl is I think we're supposed to like Lucas the best, but I don't like him the best. I don't think his jokes are that good. Renata, now that's also a character who just has really long conversations that don't seem to go anywhere, and I don't like her because of that. I feel like you could cut her out of the game most easily out of all the characters. Anya's fine, she's helpful, she gives Nancy romance advice, you gotta like that. And Carl is just a terrible Burgermeister, and he's just hilariously incompetent. We could talk to him about an awful lot too, so I'd either say Carl or Anya for the Captive Curse. The Monster, ooh, that'd be my favorite character, the Monster. Okay, Bess is probably my favorite character. No, wait, I think Deirdre Shannon. Deirdre Shannon is my favorite character of Alibi and Ashes. I love what they did with her character. She's like this really terrible character in the books, but in this game she's great and memorable. And yeah, so Bess is funny too. It was great to see Bess be at her funniest in this game. Oh, I do not like Tony. Tony is just a slimy politician the whole way through. They really nailed the fact that there's something about her that seems off the entire time. George, George only shows up at the end, and there's just something about her character design in this game that looks weird to me. I don't like it. I feel like maybe, like, see these lines on her arm? Let's go to one of the other characters. Like, see how there aren't lines on her arm? Yeah, or hers? Yeah, whereas this one looks, yeah, I don't know. Brenda Carlton, I kind of like what they did with her too, making her like this really kind of really mean villain, but still, Brenda Carlton. I mean, Deirdre Shannon is the ultimate in this game. I like her the best. Chief McGinnis is pretty good too, though. I mean, he's been in a lot of the books, so he's pretty good in the books. I love his mustache and the voice acting for him. Alexi's another great character. I really like his storyline, and the voice acting really sells it. He does a great job. I wanted him to appear in another game, but instead we got Deirdre Shannon. She shows up in 2 more games, right? 2 other games after that, so clearly she's the favorite of this one. So moving on to Tomb of the Lost Queen. This is where the characters tend to have like really long conversations that don't go anywhere. Especially you, Abdullah. I'm looking at you. And he's full of himself. I feel like it was supposed to be in a humorous way, but it wasn't funny. I didn't like it. And Lily, I don't know what she's doing in this game. She doesn't contribute anything to exploring the cave, and her role in the mystery is not explained at the end, so I didn't like that, and she's just whiny and sleeps in her bed all day long. Dylan Carter is probably the fan favorite of the game, the good-looking guy with the hat, although he disappears like halfway through the game. I did not like Jamila at all. She was on purpose giving extra long conversations, which are weird and don't make sense. I know that was on purpose, but I still don't like it. I still don't like the character who talks nonsense. Like, I did enjoy the funny characters like Professor Hotchkiss, who says a lot of nonsense things, but Jamila was just, did not like her. So probably Dylan is the best, although I didn't really like anybody out of this group. Yeah. Sorry, not a big fan of that. Yeah, maybe Professor Hotchkiss. I don't think she was as funny in this game as she was in the other games. As I said in my review for Tomb of the Lost Queen, like when people talk about Professor Hotchkiss, they talk about her in Game 4 or Game 17. Not in this game. People don't really like her appearance in this game. It's great to have her return, yes, but she just was not bringing her A game here. John's pretty cool too. Actually, let's say John's my favorite character in the game. Yeah, he helps save Nancy at the end. John's my favorite character. Cool, let's go with that. Oh, Deadly Designs. The Deadly Device. Victor is my favorite character in the game. I like the way he talks. And yeah, he's kind of memorable and cool. Nancy, please, give me the information. Okay, so Ryan is the character who tries to be funny and quirky. I feel like they tried too hard to make her the funny, quirky character, especially with the gummy bears. I didn't think those jokes worked as well. Also, she's kind of like Ingrid from the Haunted Carousel, where it's just the quirky engineer character. Mason is just mean and obnoxious, and you know, people really don't like him. He's mean and obnoxious for a reason to be a suspect. Gray was also just a really mean character all the time, and he doesn't remember you ever. Yeah. And then Ellie just seems to be going through some sort of crisis off-screen, partially on-screen, but she's like, I don't really like this job, and I don't like my life, and maybe that's partly because somebody just died, and that's why she's kind of having these major doubts and issues with herself and her life. But in terms of like suspect for killing, yeah, everybody was just angry in this game. Yeah, now that I think about it, these characters were not that great. Victor is probably my favorite. And Deirdre was okay too. Deirdre was fine in this one. I like her line about the TBTD, or was it TDPD? The touchdown detective. Officer Downs! He was a linebacker, now he's a crime tracker. Yeah. So probably Victor in this game. Yeah, probably my favorite. Did not like the Hardys in this game very much. I think you can get away with not calling them ever. Nico is the murder victim, so we don't see a whole lot of him. Oh man, it goes to Thornton Hall. A similar thing where it's like none of these characters are likable. I guess except maybe Ryan. They're like, which of these characters would I want to hang out with in real life? Not really any of them. Yeah. So, gosh, yeah, we had mean character games all in a row. So Claire is just a mean mother, and don't want to go into spoiler territory, but she's got some serious skeletons in the closet. Wade is probably the nicest out of the bunch, but he hangs out in the cemetery all day instead of actually helping. And he's just more happy with being grim and dark than actually trying to find Jessalyn. Similarly with Harper, she just seems to enjoy being grim and dark for the sake of being grim and dark. She's just being scary, and I feel like she's trying to amuse herself by making other people think she's insane. And yeah, it didn't work too much for me. Colton is like barely there. I don't like this Colton dude. weird. Like, I kind of liked him at the start, but his conversations feel all wrong. They feel like they don't go anywhere, and his backstory is that he's calling the girl that he actually wants to marry because he doesn't want to marry Jessalyn, and that's just makes me think he's a huge scumbag because, like, Jessalyn's missing. Jessalyn's probably my favorite character of the game, even though she only appears at the end. She's not entirely helpful, but I've gotta like her. You know, really cool character design. She looks so cool. Savannah Woodham was not as good in this game as she was in game number 23. I liked Logan and Savannah in game number 23. I felt like their conversations went on for too long, and there's too much of them. It's like, okay, I like these characters, I don't like them that much. But Savannah being brought back, she just repeats the routine of, I'm a ghost hunter, but I'm scared of ghosts. And yeah, everybody in this game says, like, creepy, abrupt things, very abrupt conversations in this particular game, which suits the mood, but doesn't make for pleasant characters that I enjoy talking to. Alrighty, and then Addison, did not like her at all. She's Savannah's friend that we call, and she's just kind of wishy-washy. Bess was okay in this game. Bess and Ned were together in this game. I don't want to say they're secretly dating each other, because they're not, but, yeah, I felt like more could have been done with it. I felt like their conversations were trying to be funny on purpose, to be the only bright spot in an otherwise dark game. Ooh, Charlotte the Ghost was a really cool character, too. Kind of like her. I wish, like, we actually got to talk with the ghost of Charlotte, but she is so cool looking. What an awesome design. Yeah. And then, let's see. The Silent Spy, Nancy's mother's probably... Oh, or... Why is Ned suddenly here? Yeah, okay. I guess my folder... Oh, there's Dwayne Powers! Look, I got a picture of Dwayne Powers! Okay, so my picture folder is all messed up here. Please try to stick with me, though. Silent Spy. I did not like Bridget Shaw. She was kind of annoying, and that's sort of on purpose. I don't know! I feel like it was a weird decision to make her annoying. I felt like she should have been the best friend character instead, but she wasn't. Ewan, I feel like he was supposed to be funny, but he wasn't, and I didn't understand what he was saying half the time. Like I said with some of these other characters, it feels like they're talking nonsense half the time. Definitely the case with Ewan. Moira, I don't really like her. I wanted to like her at the start, but then she disappears for like a third of the game, and that's completely unaddressed. Like, where did she go? What happened? We don't know. And then she mostly just gives sad backstory about the tragedy of the death of Nancy Drew's mom. Probably Kate Drew is my favorite character of the game. Alec is supposed to be the good-looking guy with a tragic backstory. I feel like if his stuff had been moved up forward, that would have been good. I also kind of like Samantha Quick. She was okay. She's kind of funny too, but definitely Nancy's mom is my favorite character from The Silent Spy. Okay, I guess we're moving on to, what game is this? I want to go to, Labyrinth of Lies, because that's the next game of the series. The Hardy Boys, let's see, Gregor is an okay character. He's fine again. He's like, I've got a tragic backstory, and he's supposed to be the really good-looking guy. And he does have a little bit of charm and charisma. I'll give him that. Niobe was mostly a complainer pants the entire time. I understand she's got like this tragic backstory. I feel like that was done just for the sake of having a tragic backstory in this game. I don't know, I didn't like her that much. Thanos is barely in the game. He is mean and intimidating in the scenes where he's in. He also barks like a dog, so there's that. That's weird. Xenia is probably my favorite of the suspects. She's the one who would probably be the most interesting, the one I'd like to talk to in real life. Hardy Boys are okay. Melina, our boss, you know, I didn't like her that much. Maybe if Nancy had a different boss. Like, one of the characters from a previous game could have been a good boss there. Let's step back. So the characters from, oh gosh, the Dossier games. So it looks like Ida Brooks and Molly McKenna. There's also George. Yeah, there's also George and Arthur. I think George is probably my favorite, although he's very much underused. He's the Australian director and doesn't really show up. Arthur, either George or Arthur is probably my favorite, because Arthur's the nicest. Molly is the director who feels like she should have had more of a role. I don't know, it's weird to say, like, this game that only had four characters, it felt like a lot of the characters had, like, roles that were just overlapped too much. And that kind of weakened their effectiveness as suspects. And the fact that the storyline really forced you along a particular path, I couldn't talk to the characters freely, that kind of ruins the characters for me. If I could have, like, as many conversations with the characters as I want, and talk to them about what I want, I probably would have liked the characters better. But it feels like talking to them's not interesting, it's like a chore. It's actually just a puzzle, because you have to pick what the conversation option is next. That kind of makes these characters not as much fun for me. So I'll go with George, who's just vaguely fun. Next is the Shattered Medallion. Hooray, Shattered Medallion. Bess was okay in this game. I feel like she's supposed to be funny and none of her jokes landed, and then they tried to make her dramatic, sad story that she never gets to save the day like Nancy, and I don't get it. George was cool in this game. Wish we got to see more George in this game. Wish she had been like my sidekick for the entire game. That would have been awesome. Kiri did not like her at all. Yeah. Yeah. Again, with the characters who say weird things that don't really make sense. Like the conversation where she's like, oh, I went on a date with this guy and then he died. And Nathan's like, what? She's like, oh, no, years later in a boating thing, totally unrelated. It's like, well, then why did you make yourself seem like a murderer? Normal people don't talk like that. And, yeah, the dialogue in Shattered Medallion is just terrible, and all the characters talk strange and funny, and probably that's why I like George the best, is because she says the least amount of weird, strange things, and does the most amount of trying to be helpful. Lena, yeah, she's just manipulative and lies. Patrick is just dumb, and I don't understand him at all, and I don't know if gorillas swim. And Sunny June could have been so amazing, oh my gosh, but he was not. Oh, and I recently saw somebody complaining that we don't get to talk to Sunny about the other games in the series. Like, Nancy should be able to talk to him about Manette and all these other characters, and that would have been awesome. Yeah, but instead the game just sort of overlooks the fact that Nancy and Sunny sort of have a storied past together, even though technically they're meeting each other for the first time here. Leave the mansion now! Scariest character of the game. Did I pick a favorite for this game? Yeah, George. George is my favorite. Okay, Nancy's pretty awesome. Sea of Darkness. Alex was awesome. I actually really liked Alex. I wish she showed up in more games. Dagny was okay. Dagny, I feel like I said this multiple times in this video, is a character who disappears for like half the game, and that ruins her effectiveness as a character. It's really cool when she comes back, though. She's like, hey, Drew. Elizabeth was okay, I guess. Yeah, she's just kind of grumpy all the time. Gunnar, I liked him. He's probably my favorite. Like, he's the grumpy guy, but he's funny. Yeah, he's just like Holt Scotto. He just feels like a Holt Scotto type character, and I really liked Holt Scotto, and I like him. Magnus, we only see him at the very end. I thought he was interesting. Ned, I guess we can call him Ned in that game. I think I'm going to go with Alex, actually. I think honestly Alex is my favorite character of the game. I'll go with Alex. I'll make an unexpected pick. And then Soren was the character who's pretending to be your best friend when really, I mean, look at that nasty pose. Ugh. Also, he complains way too much about problems of his own making, too. Hey, there's Tino Balducci, I like him. Hey, there's Nancy's mom. Yeah. I'm missing a game, aren't I? Alrighty, so I'm missing Midnight in Salem. Also the second Dossier game. Second Dossier game, I remember Cassidy. Let's say Cassidy is my favorite character. So there's Cassidy. Yeah, I'll go with him. Nancy's boss in the Dossier game, Nick. He's mean. I don't like him. Mrs. Montague, the mean woman. I don't like her. She's mean. She's an interesting kind of mean, so she's probably my favorite. I didn't like Jasmine Ivy, although she could have been like a friendly character. And the others. Helfton doesn't really feel like he has much of an effect on that game, even though he shows up quite a bit. And then Joanna just shows up way too late to have much of an effect. Like the other Dossier game. the conversations and the characters don't leave as much of an impression because they're so forced, and you have to go through these conversations in a particular order. You don't really, it doesn't feel organic. It doesn't feel like real conversations. I complained about, conversations in Labyrinth of Lies not feeling like real conversations, or real characters. Real people don't talk the way the characters do in the Shattered Medallion, and that's true too of like the Dossier games, although the conversations in the Dossier games are far more realistic than anything we'll see in the Shattered Medallion. And then finally, Midnight in Salem. Let's see if I can remember all the characters in that game. Let's see. Deirdre Shannon's in that game. Deirdre Shannon's there. Deirdre Shannon's always there. She's, okay. I kind of liked her in this game. And, her interacting with the Hardy Boys. Like, I kind of wish Deirdre and Joe would start dating each other. They are, like, my new favorite couple. Frank was just kind of not so good in this game. I felt like he tagged along because Joe was there. Not that he was actually really important. You can't have just one Hardy Boy show up. You gotta have both Hardy Boys show up. Yeah, and Frank was basically just crushing on Nancy the whole time and kind of whiny about it. I didn't like that so much. The judge. The judge, OK Boomer judge. Yeah, let's see. He was funny. He's fine. Nancy really lays into him at the end of the game. Deirdre's cousin May, see, it's weird because the problems I have with these characters are often problems I have with the story. Like, I felt like the story reveal with May was poorly done. Like, you're supposed to be there to talk to May, and you say 2 sentences to her on day 1, and then it's like 3 hours later when you actually get to try to talk to her for the first time, and I don't like that. And, that's something with the way the game is programmed and set up, not something with the way that character is. So, not a big fan of May or Tegan. Tegan is just the worst. Oh my gosh, I don't like Tegan. Lauren, who runs the tea store, is probably the best out of the characters. I like her, yeah. Jason Danforth, oh, I would not like to meet him in real life. And also Alicia Cole, who's the lawyer. You only have like the one conversation with her, and so it's an extremely long conversation because that's like the only time Nancy gets to talk to her. And I'm sorry if I'm forgetting any other characters. Leave a comment on this video if you have your own picks for a best character of these Nancy Drew games. So let me finish this video just by giving a list of all my favorite characters. So Daryl Gray and Mr. September. Then Dwayne Powers, Abby, and Professor Hodgkiss, and was it Nick Falcone? No, it was Maya. It was Maya. Maya, yes. Joanna, maybe, or Hendrik? I'm completely forgetting which one. Not Hendrik. Henrik. Ranger Akers, Harlan Bishop, Holt Scotto, Dave Gregory. Say Ethel? Probably? Yeah, Ethel, yeah. It's the character I most wanted to see most of. Emily, I think I'll pick Emily over Jim Archer, although I like them both pretty much equally. And Tino Balducci. This guy, Jean-Michel Traquenard. And then, Big Island Mike. Most memorable, favorite, those are interchangeable in this case. Oh gosh, I didn't like anybody. Bill Kessler. I didn't like anybody in Game 16. Game number 17, Henry Bolet Jr. Nice, like him. And then the Phantom of Venice. Kyler, liked her. And then George Fane, Nancy's friend George. Mel Corbelis, yes. And Paw. And then let's go with Yumi here in Shadow at the Water's Edge. Carl or Anya? I couldn't really pick. Yeah, same thing here. It's like, do I like Rentharo or do I like Yumi? Let's go with Yumi. And do I like Carl or Anya? Let's go with Anya. And then Deirdre Shannon. Deirdre Shannon taking home the gold. All the characters in Alibi and Ashes were great. I wish they had kept that level of great characters for the rest of the series. Like, I want every game to have such a great cast of characters as that game did. Probably Dylan? No, John Boyle. John Boyle. Professor Boyle. Probably my favorite. Yeah, hard to pick a character I actually like in Tomb of the Lost Queen. Same with the Deadly Device. I think I'm with Victor. And then, Jessalyn Thornton. Then, gosh, who did I pick? Nancy's mom in, Spy? Yeah. And in The Silent Spy, I went with Nancy's mom as my favorite character. Other favorite character, gosh, George Jackson from the first Dossier game, and then Cassidy Jones from the second Dossier game. Let's see, Xenia from Labyrinth of Lies, and George of the Shattered Medallion. Then Alex for Sea of Darkness, and Lauren from Midnight in Salem. So those are my official picks for my favorite characters. That's my favorite character of every single Nancy Drew game. Now, it'd be a different question if you were asking who are my favorite characters of all the games combined. Because, like I said, I really enjoy the cast of Alibi and Ashes. And so, like, I would have to pick, like, 3 favorites from that in terms of my favorite characters of all time if I had to, like, list my 10 favorite characters. And then there are other games, like, that had multiple characters I liked, such as Anya and Carl, Ara, Yumi, and Rentaro. Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it, everybody, even though it was sort of long and rambling. Bye!